Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, ladies, we are currently recording the first episode of When Do They Kiss? Ostensibly a podcast. Well, I mean, just to explain the title, I thought this is one of the first questions I usually ask, or a type of question that I said something similar that I often ask when I go into a story, right? Which chapter does it happen? Which chapter do they get together? So I thought it kind of encapsulates the feeling when we go into a new story. Okay, so the topics for today are God tier Dramini, and that's in inverted commas because we want to discuss what that means to us, fandom evolution, and story crafting. Okay, so any of the links that we talk about in relation to our author bios or projects and things like that will be included in the show notes at the end. I'm doing this like a work meeting. This is terrible.
This is great. I'm fascinated.
Are you?
Yeah.
This is the introductions. This is where we do usually the welcome to country, respect for the land speech. So my name is Sonia. I am lesser known as Sonia, so better known as Rizzle, and I am a fanfiction author and have been a fanfiction author for a very long time. So this is my first attempt at a podcast. I've participated in a few, mostly for work, a couple for other creative outlets, but I just really wanted to do something that was fandom specific and specific to the fandom that I'm in, which is the Harry Potter fandom, and more specific within that, the Hermione ship, which we'll talk about in more detail in a bit. So I just want to introduce my very special guests today, and they are Ada.
Hi.
Ada P Rix, and Ada is joining us from the UK in Liverpool. Is that right, Ada? Yeah. My sister went to Liverpool University. So she does a very good, is it Liverpudlian? Liverpudlian accent, Scouse.
Right. I think I'm what you call a posh Scouser, but yeah. I do. I love my city.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's very good.
It's beautiful. But
did you just see that pop up on the screen?
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, fortunately, I'll take it, but that's
oh my god,
a screen recording. So this is going straight on YouTube. Is that what I hear?
Oh my god, I'm doing research. I swear to God, it's for research.
Swear I'm doing research. Hey, at least none of the other tabs you have open are damning. At least you didn't leave up all of the tabs.
Julie, my love, this is an incognito window. This is another window.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
This is not her first rodeo, as we say in America.
We will either leave that or remove that in post-production. Okay. We'll talk more about our respective backgrounds in a bit. I'll introduce my second guest, who you heard from already. Julie.
Tis I.
Tis you. Julie, would you prefer to go as Julie Soto? Is it Soto? Or would you like us to call you by your
Julie's great.
Julie's great.
Or
Jules.
my nickname since I was little was Jules with no E, Juls.
Oh, I love that.
And so when I was trying to kind of not that would hide my identity at all, but differentiate myself, when I got into fandom, I had the Facebook account Jules Beth. So a lot of people call me Jules already. So it's Julie, Jules, LB8. Eighth in line.
Yeah.
Eighth in line for the throne.
Yeah. Wow. I love that.
I love these diamonds above the eyes. I appreciate the all caps of Julia Soto, but I'm missing the diamond above the eye. This font is everything.
It is, right? Well, I happen to be using an application that rhymes with Schmanba. So if any companies out there want to get in touch to sponsor me, that would be great. So we'll get more into your background. And Julie, but you're joining us from LA.
From California, at least, Northern California.
From Northern California. And I am joining everyone from Sydney, Australia. And it's currently 12:50 a.m. But I'm doing very well. It's going to
be a good one.
My first question for you is, what is fandom? What does it mean to you?
Fandom is freedom and expression.
Definitely.
Friendships and solidarity in a lot of places, especially because I think what makes fandom stronger are antis.
Well, that's really interesting.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of solidarity within fandom relationships and fandom groups.
Yeah. I always see it as like a safe place. You should feel safe, and everyone's sort of on the same page, hopefully.
So it's community.
Yeah.
It's community, and
community, definitely,
of like-minded people. But I guess the thing is that we're an interconnected global community, and that means lots of different viewpoints and lots of different backgrounds, and that can get challenging, I think. Especially when we all like the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And connected to that, how long have you been in your respective fandom? So that can be the one that I'm in, or you may be in other ones.
Ada, go ahead.
I've been in the Hermione fandom for it's the only fandom that I'm really in terms of reading and writing. I don't really read or write many others. I'd say between 14 and 16 years, but it's only been within the last 2 that I've really sort of branched out and decided to write. I sort of dipped in and then dipped out for a decade and then came back.
That seems to be the case with lots of us.
Do you know what? I genuinely think the pandemic brought a lot of people back. A lot of people.
Yeah,
it was true. Like their comfort, and they went back there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it helped that it was popping off. It was so busy and popular, and so many new fics to read, so many so many new artists.
Yes.
So it's not hard to come back to something you love, especially when it's blossoming.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
When I first left, Akasha the Kitty was still writing some of her stuff. Isolation hadn't been written, any of that.
Oh, wow.
And then I came back, and I had all of this, this new information and these new stories thrown at me. Oh, read this, and I was like, oh my God, it's it's amazing. The way that it's just expanded, and so many people have clicked onto it, and how good the actual fandom is, and the art as well. Like you said, it's amazing. Some of the artwork out there is just incredible,
isn't it? It's just spellbinding. I remember when I joined, it was Cassie Clare was just finishing the Draco trilogy. So I think that was one of the first fics that I read in the Harry Potter fandom. And I had no kind of no background in fan fiction apart from I didn't know what it was. I think I read like a couple of Star Trek stories, and I wrote some as spoofs just in like high school, but I didn't understand what it meant. And then read Cassie Clare stuff and promptly fell in love with it, and then fell out of love with it when certain things came to light. But it was just such a revelation. And when the pandemic hit, I think it reminded people of the sense of community and comfort that we can have online in that space, because it was there all the time, and it was something that we could say, oh, you know what, I might pick up that particular interest again, and this is the right time to do it. And it was a really safe and lovely thing to come back to during the pandemic, I thought.
Yeah, it was. It really was. It's the whole reason I ended up coming back in the first place.
Mhm.
I was sat there going through Kindle and everything and reading, and I just remember thinking to myself, do you know what? I used to read so many good Hermione fan fictions, and I thought, am I too old to go back to that now? Am I allowed to go back to that now? And honestly, the level of honest, it's just some of them are better than books that are out there. It's just crazy.
They are. When I did
Mhm.
the Liatotza wrap-up party, and people pronounce it differently, but
I have
the
never
Liatotza-
heard it said out loud, so I was like, the what?
the Liatotza, the wrap-up party that I did in January of this year, which I planned the party before I actually finished the story because I was running late as usual. So we were like, even 2 chapters off, like, we'll just pretend it's finished. Hooray! So we had the party then, and we were talking about the same thing. And we were talking about how we're spoiled for choice, and we're actually spoiled for standards as well. And that has made us, I think, more picky readers. Like we're just much more discerning about the books that we're reading.
Yeah.
Especially in the same genre.
So many different authors give these characters a different life every single time. And that's what astounds me about it. You never read the same story twice.
Yeah.
And I just get blown away every time. And I'm like, wow, there's people out here with this hidden talent that, you know, that some hide it, myself included, because I don't know whether there's a stigma to reading fan fiction like they used to be. I don't know, because I'm a bit older, but it's just one of those, isn't it? You don't know whether to hide it or sing it loud and proud. I don't know whether you feel the same way.
I definitely, there was a stigma. I think there was like it's something that you do secretly. You can enjoy it, but you enjoy it secretly. But in the last maybe like 3 to 5 years, it's been a fairly recent thing. It's been like it's gone mainstream.
It has. It really has.
But we're also having all these fantastic female writers writing for serialized TV, and they are from our generation and a bit younger, perhaps from in my case, but younger than me. But they read the fanfics. They are writing, probably still writing fanfics, and they write for the viewer. It's not a zeitgeist thing. They actually write for the people who want to watch the show, not to a formula. I don't know if that makes sense, but I've noticed it in and the way that storytelling has changed as well, because we have now, with streaming, you're watching a show one after the other, right? So you can just set it so it doesn't stop. The way that the narrative unfolds, it's changing. It's different from when you have to tune in week after week. So some things don't work anymore. And the same thing applies with fic. Because how long did the auction take to write, Jules?
June to the following December. So like 18 months or a little longer. Yeah.
See, that to me is like so fast. That is so fast.
Yeah,
it's a massive story.
It's true though. Yeah, fast.
Right.
That's so funny.
Wow.
I know. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, no, well, I feel like I'm jumping to your point, but like how things change over time, or how it's like serialized things have become faster.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's, and it's funny because with the auction, update schedules were just becoming a thing. Authors were trying to do readers the service of letting them know when the next update would be.
Oh my God, yeah. We didn't used to have them, right?
No, it was like, fuck off. I don't know, and it's such a great thing to be able to, it's like every chapter is a gift, and like you want to be able to be like, guess what, you have a present coming tomorrow. Like that's fun for authors too, to give these gifts and the serotonin of new chapters, and the excitement for new chapters. So the update schedule is definitely very new.
It is. Yeah.
And there's consequences to it.
When you don't meet them, like me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I'm the worst offender.
I'm really
I had a
bad.
2-year gap. But yeah, look, to me, 18 months is so fast. And Jules, you were doing this while working or studying, and a bunch of other things were happening. I mean, we're not all independently wealthy, I'm assuming. Not yet.
Not quite.
Not
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I would bust out 10,000 words every Saturday and Sunday and hit post Sunday night at 10 p.m. So it's like, woo. And that wasn't the plan when I had an update schedule. The plan is like you hit post on Sunday and I say in 2 weeks, you'll get the next 10,000 words.
Oh
and,
gosh.
I should have started writing in those first 12 days, but it's like that's my break. That's when I do the laundry and do the dishes, because I didn't do any of it Saturday or Sunday.
I think it really works when you need the motivation to have. So having that deadline there's actually a line in the sand, rather than like, oh, I'll do it when I can, which is how I do it. But yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, you know what I meant to do? I meant to actually open up your AO3 pages, and I'll do Julie's one first, just to make sure that I'm up to date with all the stuff that is.
I mean, I'll need to be up to date too. You have to remind me.
Mine's not up to date. I've still got stuff to upload. Okay, you've actually got Star Wars stuff. Of course you do.
Yeah,
I know that. Yeah. And you write for Star Wars. You've got 6 and 4. Okay, so what's your? Hang on, am I in the right place? Works. So good. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m. Dancing Bears, Painted Wings, All Right, Birthright. So the majority is Dramini, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not all of it?
It's been about, since the Rise of Skywalker, I have not wanted to write for Raylo. But
that's a whole other podcast, isn't it?
That's a whole other podcast. But yeah, mainly Dramini, and less and less as I've been moving into writing books, but I'm not done. I have works in progress that I'm gonna finish.
Don't tease us like that, Jules.
My TBR list is astronomical, but that's the same for all of us.
Same.
And now Madame Ada, we've got yours. 15 works and
incomplete.
So definitely all Dramini, is that right?
Every single one.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And the most recent was
I can't even remember.
Breeding Pit.
It's been a while since I've been up there. Yes.
I just saw a clip of this today.
Yes.
On Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a completed one, actually. That's complete.
Yeah.
I don't often get completed ones on my page, but yeah, that's a complete one.
So
that's like striking gold, to be honest.
What's your longest story?
I do really short ones. The problem is I've got a few work in progress ones that have actually got plot in them. Don't tell anybody, but they've actually got a bit of plot.
Oh my god.
I know.
Have plot. You have plot in your stories. Like I refuse to accept that comment that it is just because you are known for, being prolific and fantastic at writing a certain type of story. I do not accept that there is no plot. And I think Julie agrees with me.
Yeah.
But I mean, in comparison to other stories, I don't tend to have a lot of plot. So I was quite proud of these particular stories because they have more plot in them than other bits.
Yes.
But they're not completed, so they don't count.
And for our viewers joining us, I'm because presumably this is going to be on YouTube. We are proud of this.
Yes.
What I'm highlighting here right now. Damn proud. This is a shame-free zone, folks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Folks.
Okay, I'm gonna cut down on the sake. No more Saki puns as well.
Never.
My daughter has banned me. Okay, next thread. Okay, what stories are you best known for in the fandom or fandoms? Ada,
Me?
you go
Oh,
first. Yeah.
me? Oh, okay. No pressure. No, obviously the Erised Effect. That's the only one that I can really think that pops out that people would know what I write and the kind of thing. It's funny though, the Erised Effect was written when in my brain I just want to write something that's completely full of porn. Doesn't need to have plot, just lots of porn. And
Yeah.
I went with it, spoke to a few people, got a few little ideas, and they were really great, to swing back and forth on, and I was really grateful and went with it. But yeah, I'd say that's the main one. I wouldn't really say that if you'd said another story of mine that people would really know. So I'd say that that's probably the main one, to be honest.
And I have a question for you. So that is the one that you'd say people would probably recognize as being, your most well-regarded story. What is the story that you think is the best one that you've written? Sort of technically not correct, but technically, you're proud of it in all the ways that matter to you.
I'm gonna go with a work in progress called On Gallows Lane. And it was written, I absolutely adore it. I was absolutely fascinated by Peaky Blinders, and the final series hasn't come out. And the first and second series with Tommy, Shelby, and Grace are the tension and what was going on there between them, and it fascinated me. And I was like, wow, imagine if I could create a Draco that was like Tommy Shelby. I've written actually 9 chapters of it, and I've got so much more to do, and the characters are really complex. This is one of them that actually has more plot than anything else.
Yeah.
Because essentially Hermione's gone to work undercover for Harry at a pub which Draco owns, but he's like a sort of mafia sort of boss, and he's running an illegal company behind the pub, and she's trying to get information for Harry, but she can't let any of Draco or Theo or Blaze or anyone know that this is, that this is why she's there. And she does the books, so she's an accountant, so they've taken her on for that. But throughout it, you sort of get the feeling that they know that they're onto her, but she doesn't know whether they actually know or not. But Theo's in on it as well, and there's lots of complexities there with the plot.
I highly recommend this one. There's a tension there, as you say. Like she thinks she's been found out. She thinks that they know. Yeah.
But there's just so many twists and turns and so many places I want to take it. But this was back when I left the fandom and then re-entered the fandom. So I wrote all of this before I came back, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was just doing my own little thing. So I've not gone back to it. I do want to, and I will complete it, but I've just not at the minute, if that makes sense.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Okay.
I do like it. I actually love this story, and it's such a unique. It's such an unusual and it's basically an example of what you said earlier, which is that we're able to take the same characters and put them into these amazing, sometimes they're not even AU, but just different situations reimagined.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Julie?
The fic I'm most known for is probably the auction.
Yes. What about good? Follow me.
Yeah, right. I think a lot of people love good and are excited for good, but I think a lot of people actually don't even know about it because it's not marked as complete.
I would shout about that fic from the top. Don't even get me started.
And not even like stats wise, I don't mean stats, but just in general, like the amount of people who, if I see it like wrecked in a Facebook group, someone's like, what's that? Like so many people are like, what's that? What's the link? I've never heard of this. What is this? And I think it's just, I think it's funny. I think it's not been around as long. It doesn't have a lot of art for it specifically, which draws people to fix. So it's like once it's complete, I think more people know what good
You
is.
do say, Jules, that it's not been around for a while. However, with you only updating once a year,
Yeah, actually, maybe it's closer to
on our toes.
it might be about 3 years old by now. You're right. I think it's coming up on its like 3rd anniversary or something.
Oh, but I love it. I read it over and over and over and over again.
Thank you.
Shibari. Oh, I've just been learning about that in my research.
Yeah.
Because I'm a writer, and we look up very unusual things.
Yeah.
Our Google search history is a wonder.
Filthy.
Yeah.
Filthy. Okay, we'll just say that. Well, okay, cool. Thanks for that, ladies.
Yeah.
Moving on. Are you on social media?
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. So I know for a fact both of you are Twitter, because that's where I interact with you currently the most. Are you on Tumblr, TikTok? That's a
Both,
yes too, I think.
yeah. And Instagram,
On Instagram.
Yeah, less on Tumblr. I used to love Tumblr. And then when they what did they do? They banned porn or something.
Did they?
Whoever bought them.
Oh, well, I'm coming off it then, because
they banned porn.
Yeah,
And Jules was like, I'm out of here.
I gotta go. But I used to get so much of my fandom news from Tumblr. Like I'd follow like TV show accounts that had like so and so's been cast as this, and and like you're like and I just used to get so much information from Tumblr. And I would Tumblr used to be like my Twitter scroll, like when you can't stop yourself from scrolling. And yeah, I've definitely cut back. I had to close my asks because there's just too much for me to do to properly give them attention. And some of the questions are things that are easily found.
Have been answered before.
Yeah, and it's fine if you can't scroll my profile to find those answers, but having just the asks open was a step too much for me for things I had to do every week. So yeah, I've closed. So I'm just much less on Tumblr. I actually uninstalled it from my phone and now just check it once every 2 weeks or so.
Yeah,
I think the great thing about Tumblr, and still is that it's kind of like a time capsule, because you can still, like the name suggests, you'll get posts that just tumble along, through the years, and they'll come back up and it'll be like 50,000 reblogs. But in something like TikTok, it's very, very immediate. There's a very current, there's a very current attention span, a small and short attention span.
Yeah, it is.
It's changing so quickly.
Yeah,
the face of social media. Yeah,
it really is. I quite like TikTok myself, but I have my personal account and my private one, and I'm constantly scrolling, and I can go, I'll just do a quick 2 minutes, and then 3 hours later I'm down this big massive black hole where I'm like, how did I get here?
Oh my god, tell me about it. And now they've just started 10-minute videos that you can upload on TikTok, so
I know.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to try and cut back.
I need to wean myself off. I think that's what I need to do.
Yeah, we're gonna go for a walk. That's what we need to do. We need to go out for a walk.
Get out and see the world.
Oh,
Been living in a Hermione black hole for the last 2 years. I don't know what I've been doing in my life, to be honest.
I know.
Oh God, I'm just catching up. I really am just catching up. Okay, so the next question is a double-barreled one. Do you interact much with readers in the fandom? So it's kind of related to the last couple of things we've been discussing. And if so, what has that interaction been like? Ada, I'll ask you first.
I find myself, I don't know whether it's just because I'm naturally, in the real world, I'm a major introvert. So I'm really quiet, I'm really into myself. My circle of friends is very small. So I found that within the fandom, I am majorly extroverted. So I love speaking to people. I don't say people who, you know, you become friends with on Twitter and all your socials. I just see them as people within the fandom that love what you love, and you're interacting together. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
so interesting. So you're introverted.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know whether anyone feels the same about that, but I am majorly,
Mhm.
really, yeah, very, very introverted in real life, but within fandom, I'm quiet. I'll sound off on Twitter all the time. I don't mind. I love it. I love being able to speak to people and get their opinions, and you know, for them to give me what they like, and I'll tell them what I like, and I'm quite open like that. I do enjoy it. Most of my experience with people have been really, really positive. We've got a great fandom. We really, really have. Obviously, sometimes not so positive. But I try not to let that. I just swipe it under the rug, and you know, whatever. Everyone's got different opinions. Let's just get on.
Yeah.
We're all one fandom. You know, at the end of the
Mhm.
day, we're all here for the same thing. So let everyone do as they please, and the world will be a better place. Is my theory anyway.
Yeah.
And have you had any memorable moments, whether they're, you know, for the wrong reason or for really good reasons?
I'm just trying to think, because I'm really lucky. At 99% of the time, if I get a review or if I speak to people, they're so positive, and they just enjoy the fandom and enjoy the stories. And if they've spoken, you know, about something that I've written, they're so positive about it. There's only a few that I've you know, it's like banging your head against a brick wall. But I tend to just, you know, it can bring you down. I don't know whether anyone else feels that way
Mhm.
sometimes. If you have an experience like that, it can dampen you. And I thought, right, no, if this is my second time coming back to the fandom, I want it to be a positive experience. I don't want to be feeling like I'm not myself. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
It does.
Yeah.
What about you,
It's got to be
Julie?
positive for you to enjoy it, hasn't it? At the end of the day, if it's not
It
positive,
does.
you know,
Yeah.
it needs to be on your terms,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
you need
Well,
to
and
want to be there.
and I'll say, you know, the authors don't have to be here.
No.
And you know, it has to be something the author wants to do.
Yeah.
And it's fine if you choose to be an internet troll and you choose to make other people feel bad. That's your life. You live it how you want to live it. But
Yeah.
some people will disappear, and maybe you will be happy about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but some people will start to, you know, stop posting.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
so it
so sad
just, yeah,
when you see authors that have, sorry, Jules, you have
yeah,
they have so much talent, and then all of a sudden they're gone, and you're like, oh, you know,
yeah.
that it must have been really bad for them to want to go off and not want to share in that experience anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
it you
Mm-hmm.
know, although fandom is a really positive thing, sometimes it can have a little prickly side to it that we've probably all experienced at one point or another, but obviously in different ways, I suppose.
And do
Yeah.
you know what else I think is pertinent to this is that um, it's a strange kind of position to be in when you're an author that has a readership, and
Yeah.
there is almost like an expectation that you are public property. That may
Mm-hmm.
not be the case for all of us, but sometimes it feels like that. It feels like that it's depersonalized, that you're not just, you know, Rizzle
Yeah.
or Ada or Julie on the internet sharing stories, but it's like you're producing something that is
Yeah.
separate from you, and therefore it is allowed to be sort of taken apart in a way that can be quite
Mm-hmm.
hurtful at times.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you cease to be a person with feelings at a certain point.
Yeah.
Because some of these people would never say such things to first-time authors, to
No.
people
No.
who have lower statistics, people who are trying to reach a higher level of, or a higher, I don't want to say level, but output to reach more
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
They would never say such things. And that's, you become a public figure. You know, it's like we can trash talk the Kardashians as much as we want because they chose this life, right? You know, it's kind of that mentality of these authors chose this, and they have far more benefits than they have negatives. So yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, well said.
I'm very much like Ada. I'm also an introvert, but I am a theater kid, so it's like I turn it on big time. So that's why I'm very talkative. I'm very
Jules,
out
you were
there.
a theatre child too.
Yes.
Oh, same.
Yeah. Nice. So but I need, you know, I think the definition of an introvert is someone who recharges in solitude, you know?
Definitely.
So it's like that's me, as I can turn it on for large periods of time, but then I need to go be alone.
Yeah, it takes a toll.
Absolutely the same.
Yeah. So I interact with my readers a lot. You know, like I said, I had to put up some boundaries on Tumblr, and not for any, you know, specific, like, I've been burned, here's a boundary. Just, you know, time and energy. And I have, you know, I'm very active on Facebook. I have my Facebook group on there.
I'm not on Facebook anymore, but I do remember the group.
So I'm very interactive with my readers. People, you know, when I'm actively posting, there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of love, there's a lot of you know, here's what I think is going to happen, and just like fun stuff like that. And I love interacting with that.
So mostly positive. That's what I think.
Well, I mean, that's that was the first half of the question, right? No.
Yeah.
But I feel like you do remember the negative far more, you know? So it's like, I can't even think of something specifically positive that like I could talk about, because it's just this blur of nice energy. But there's, you know, plenty of negatives that stand out far more strongly. But yeah, I think, you know, I'm the same as Ada. I'm an introvert by nature, so I enjoy interacting with people. But then I need breaks, and I, you know, and then I have guilt that I'm not interacting as much. And then
Same. I'm exactly the same.
Wow,
I
yeah,
feel
the
guilty that I'm not
same.
posting or
Well, and
Right
you know,
there with you.
there's also, like, you know, in the beginning, I don't, Ada, you're a theater kid, so you might get this reference, but I always thought to myself, when I see Broadway shows or you know, shows with West End, wherever you are, I always think to myself, why are there actors who don't come out at the stage door and sign autographs? Like, we're paying for your livelihood. We deserve your attention, you know. Like, I always had that question, like, I don't get it. It's 15 minutes, you know, of your evening, and you have to exit the door anyways. And once I started getting the, you know, the flood of comments on AO3 on every fic, I finally got it. You know, it's very draining after you've just done something very draining. And so the comments I treasure. I love,
not that you don't appreciate them, they're amazing, and everyone that you get is just blows you over. I do.
And that's, you know, I definitely exactly, I love and treasure the comments, but then I feel guilty that I'm not responding to them, because it's so hard to think of something other than "thank you so much, I'm so glad you like it," and then just copy paste that to every single comment, because that doesn't seem fair either.
Doing that, because then I feel like I copped out and I didn't give them a proper answer.
Exactly. I feel that massively. It feels insincere and inauthentic. So I just don't. And it's not because I'm not, I read every single one and I love every single one of them. Even the nasty ones, like it gives me a buzz, but and they're few and far between, thank God. But I just, my problem is that I'll get, whether it's DMs or emails or something, or even just posts that I should reply to in a forum. If I don't feel in the emotional space, the right emotional space to do it justice, or in my perception of doing it justice, I sort of put it aside for a bit. And then you think, oh, I've spent so much time delaying that I should make it really good when I finally do reply to them. And then it just snowballs from there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that. Those very in-depth answers. Okay, so something more lighthearted. What do you guys enjoy reading or watching? So what are some genres, themes, or tropes that you enjoy?
See, me reading at the minute, I don't read anything except for Hermione, so I'm struggling literally to find something outside of that world and in the Kindle world that actually brings me in. I want something to bring me in and not let me go.
Oh, you don't need. I think you're in already. Hermione's perfectly valid answer.
Yeah.
And I guess that the genres, themes, and tropes would be stuff like, enemies to lovers, because that's very apt.
Yeah.
In terms of watching, though, I mean, I have been all over Stranger Things. Oh, that TV show has just blown me away. And I'm really bad. I tend to rewatch old episodes, even though I've seen the whole series before. I'll watch something else. It's the same thing about 5 or 6 times over. I always watch Buffy. Again, it's the enemies to lovers thing. I'm always watching it.
That's right. I forgot you were a Buffy person. Yes.
Isn't it weird how some aspects of Buffy age well and other aspects just don't?
Yes.
But they just work together when you're enjoying it.
I know. Yeah. That's most things from that time period. It's very strange to be so many things had such a modern view on the world and yet is still eons behind where we are now.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so incongruent. Julie, what are you watching or reading?
I'm a TV junkie. I watch so much TV because I like how TV and film is made. Like I would love to be a TV writer someday. So it's like I have a lot of, respect for it. So I watch a lot of different things. But generally enemies to lovers is my favorite trope. And I try to read more traditionally published fiction because that's where my career is taking me now. So I have, and it's funny, I have not been keeping up on Hermione, not for lack of love for it, but when I was writing, started back when I started The Right Thing to Do. So it's been like 5 years since I really delved into what's been going on in Hermione. I just was afraid to copy something or to take something in and accidentally regurgitate it. So I have not been reading a lot of Hermione over the past 5 years. But trying to transition into reading romance novels, and I love YA thrillers. I love reading and watching high school thriller shows and books. Yeah.
Do you watch Stranger Things?
Yeah.
That's where I've been for the last couple of months in my head. Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I get engrossed in something and I need to absorb it completely. But I've not read any fan fiction on it or anything like that. I've not gone into that much depth with it.
So much art. There's so much Eddie art on Twitter, and I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a second. I love Stranger Things, but I have not seen the new season yet.
Wow! Oh, you need to get there. Spoiled. It's amazing.
Yeah,
everyone says I should watch it.
We won't say anything else about it then.
No. But it is brilliant. You need to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just conscious of the time because we're going to lose Jules at one in.
Oh yes.
So I'm going to see what questions have been posted on Twitter while we still have the three of us together. Okay. Carmen asks, she's going to love me. What was the most difficult scene for you to write? ladies?
Oh,
Oh, for all three. Okay, I get to answer too.
Yeah, Rizzle, you go first.
yeah.
Sonia.
I go first. Oh shit. Not thinking time. Okay, what was the most difficult scene for me to write? I guess sex scenes, like physical intimacy, is really hard for me to write. I just find them they're hard for a number of reasons, but it's because they're it's like writing directions. It's like telling someone how to get to the shops, and you need to see it in your mind. You need to go left, right, and then you need to stop, but not too far past that, that convenience store. And I just, because I kind of write in the moment and I put myself in the character's shoes about what they're going to do. It's difficult to think that far ahead, but I need to, because otherwise you won't know where this hand is or that foot might be.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the feet. Yeah. And what was the scene I had most fun writing? I enjoy mostly, the most fun is to make Draco cry. So anything where he's crying, I'm just loving it. That's pretty much. Yeah.
I love making Draco cry. Wonderful. That's great. The most difficult for me was probably the courtroom scenes in the auction. It's hard to make that interesting.
It was so interesting. They're my favorite. Yeah, I've told you how much I love those.
It was like, you're like, well, hold on. At what point do we stop caring about protocol and how trials are actually run? And the scene I had most fun, in general, one of the most fun fics I had writing was a stake of holly through his heart, because Draco is just so unlikable, but comedically. So, like, and I've had some hate on that, being like, he is such a dick. Why I don't find this attractive at all. And I'm like, sure. I don't think he's very attractive in this fic either. I think it's funny. Ada.
Is it my go?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was waiting for more. I'm just trying to think. The most difficult for me was probably, it's the most difficult, but I love it as well. It's probably Bloodstream. I'll call it that because it's too long, but it's completed. But I think it was just describing Draco and how into Hermione he was. He was like almost obsessed with her, and it's describing that obsession without it borderline into stalking. So keeping it contained, even though you want to show how passionate he is. So that was difficult for me, and I do find plot overall difficult. So, I mean, porn I can write all day, but plot, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
The most fun I ever had was that whole chapter where I got to write about General Malfoy and Pansy, because I laughed my ass off the whole time writing it, thinking that nobody would take this seriously. And then I had people going, oh my God, this is disgusting. And I'm like, but it's a joke. It's not, I'm not doing it for actual reasons. I'm just doing it because I thought it'd be quite funny.
Well, it's meant to be profound. That's so fun. It's such a good feeling when you're laughing and like,
I literally did.
Typing and
every
giggling.
time I'd throw a line in, I'd just hit it to myself and go, how funny am I? Obviously not, but no, I did really enjoy that.
That's how I feel when I make Draco cry. I'm like, oh, they're gonna love this. Oh, okay. So Leha, I think, asks, someone else's fic you wish you had written.
Ooh.
That's really tough. I don't know if I'm gonna have an answer for that.
No.
You know what? Do you know what it is?
Because it's layered,
really
Yeah, it's probably going to be aspects of scenes or quotes, maybe, but I don't think I would it just feels too icky to say I would like to sort of have written the entire
it's
thing.
layered. It's layered because it's like, I respect it so much, but is it about that I think I like I'm jealous of it, or I wish I could have done it better.
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
But like, let me see if I can give you some kind of answer. Fluff whore.
Fluff whore? What?
It's her at. Do you see her handle?
I'm sorry. Leah, we love you.
I know. I really respect Sinlin Yu's battlefield catwalk, as I call it. Really loved that moment in Manacled of the battlefield catwalk. If anyone else has heard me talk about it before, it's just where he's trying to get to her when she wasn't supposed to be at that place or whatever. And he like kills everything in his sight. It's great. Battlefield catwalk. So I have a lot of respect for that moment. Some excellent angst from Akasha the kitty.
Yes.
That I have a lot of respect for. That was,
I love her work. Oh,
truly got me into Hermione when I was much a wee babe.
Yeah. Do you remember Blue Midget? And she did Pansy's Volcano.
It's
no, I don't think so.
Volcano, and I'm so sad it's never finished. It's just,
it's so sad that it was never finished, and it's brilliant. Like
it is
brilliant.
Yes.
Oh, on old adult fat fiction.
Maybe that's your answer.
Not even there anymore. Yeah, that's the one. Pansy's Volcano. I love that fic. It's so good. I can't even remember the first fic I ever ever read that got me into it. Do you know what? Actually, off handle completely. But the first fic I ever read within Harry Potter was Hermione and Harry, and I remember going, "This doesn't feel right to me. Why doesn't it feel right?" And at the time, obviously, watching Buffy, and then I was like, "Oh, blonde hair. Oh, Draco. Why don't I try Draco and Hermione?" And
wow, everything fell into place.
There used to be, Ada, this video on YouTube, and it's been forever. And I think there's a version of it still, but it's not the same. Do you know the song, This Is Not My Idea of Fun from Swan Princess? They
go from small to old,
and they used Hermione and Draco into Buffy and Spike, and it was my jam. I highly recommend trying to find that video. There's a version of it, but it's just not the one I specifically remember. I think someone else like redid it, or like that was a first draft, but it's fabulous. Yeah.
I think I've just got an asphyxiation with blonde men, honestly. I'm going
I truly do.
The Jamie, the one that plays Vecna out of Stranger Things. But he's playing? He was in Mortal Instruments, wasn't he?
Yeah. Jamie Bauer Campbell.
I keep visioning him at the minute whenever I look at Draco. That's who I'm looking
he's
at.
A fan cast for lots of Dracos, isn't he?
I know.
Jamie Campbell.
I can see it. I can see why.
Magnetic. Yeah.
Yes. But I'm very drawn to him at the minute.
Yeah.
It's very strange. I don't fancy blonde men. I don't fancy light-haired men, and
no,
I don't
actually.
Like I don't actually see a Draco in my mind usually. It's more of a concept, a very attractive concept.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. I think we all answered that.
Yeah.
Should we? Ada, do you have to go, hun?
No, I'm okay. I'm fine.
Okay, how about we just ask Julie these questions before she has to go in the next 4 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
we have you and you. Yeah. So, what's your favorite word?
Fuck.
That came out quickly. Okay. All right. Well, we'll take that one. That was from AICM. Here's a complex one. From Chloe. Hi, Chloe. Please share your smut secrets. Do you plot these or just roll with it, Julie?
My smut secrets, my biggest like advice is don't worry about the elbows. Like just have a glass of wine.
They're pointy.
They hurt. Just have a glass of wine, write it first, and then worry about the elbows when you edit. My smut secrets are like finding where the feelings come in during sex, and like finding one or two well-placed metaphors or similes or something, just descriptive language. And do I plot them? Yeah, absolutely. I for me, the sex scenes are strategically placed, and like blow by blow. I don't plot. I actually plot positions sometimes because I don't want to, especially within the same fic, have the same positions in each sex scene, or the same, like, we start in missionary and then we roll over to cowgirl. I don't want that in every single sex scene within the same fic.
Yeah.
I want.
There's no manual.
Yeah, there's no manual. So I plot out, what position or what chaise lounge we can use to do something different.
Yeah, that is a very good smut secret, and smut secrets will be the title of your podcast,
Smut
Ada.
secrets. Yeah.
Okay, we might come back to that for Ada and myself.
Yeah.
God, Ada, with because I overplot, and if you like porn, our powers should combine.
Yes.
You too should. Yes.
All right, another one from AICM. What's the first thing you do when you get an idea for a story, Julie?
I sit on it for about 6 months. That's literal. I don't do anything. I don't even like write it down. I just sit on it for 6 months. And that works for me. Some people like to work faster or want to get it out of them. I like to create the beginning, middle, and end in my mind before I even open a Word document.
Wow. Okay. So you have a pretty good idea of the end scene, how it's all going to end. Okay.
Yeah. I always know how it's going to end before I start it.
Oh, I wish I did that.
And that doesn't work for
that.
everyone. Like that's just me. I don't like editing. So if I figure out how it's going to end while I'm writing, I'm like, fuck, and I have to go back and fix things. No, I don't like it.
I think that's especially important when you're doing original fiction. I think with fan fiction we get that indulgence to free form it a bit. It's more experimental.
Absolutely.
But definitely on the same, like, have to plot, otherwise it's just gonna end up with a missing butler. So okay, what shampoo do you use, Julie?
It's called Verb Ghost. Ghost
Verb.
Shampoo and Ghost conditioner. Verb, VERB.
Okay.
Yeah. What a great question.
Are you happy with it?
I like it. Yeah. My my hair girl recommended it.
If you'd like to get in touch with Jules to give her a supply, if you're listening,
discuss more hair care secrets. Yeah.
Okay, from Zoe, what are your preferred writing environments or rituals? So I think you can sort of answer this all together. How do you plan your stories, and do you struggle to continue stories, and why? Yeah, so you kind of touched on some of this already. Yeah.
I need coffee to write. I can be at a coffee shop. I can be in my bedroom, home office, or other places. But I like having coffee, and I like having. I usually don't put on music that has lyrics. I usually listen to spa music or music for studying. Things like that. Yeah, exactly.
it's when you go to get your eyebrows waxed, and just, would you like me to put some music on? I was like, yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, exactly. How do I plan out my stories? Usually the auction was very much pre-planned because it just needed to be being a war story. But But generally, like I said, I just ruminate in my mind on it. And then if I have to bullet point like the things that are going to happen, I at least write it down to organize myself. With original fiction, I have been very much doing more so plotting and following structures that are in place in traditional publishing. And do I struggle to continue? Yes and no. I don't abandon stories, but it does take like Birthright has been waiting almost a year to be finished now, and I know exactly what's going to happen in that chapter, but I don't have the inclination to open the Word document. And I think it just might come from pressure and just it's not that I'm not ready to say goodbye, but it's like this has to be perfect because everyone is waiting for it. And that kind of pressure gets to you sometimes.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
Yeah,
I understand that. It's past time for you to go. Do you have a moment to just tell us about your new project, Julie? Because I think everyone would love to hear about that.
Yes. I have a book coming out next summer, July 2023. It's called Forget Me Not, and it is a rom-com, an adult romance. And it is about a wedding planner who is working her way up, trying to really get her business out there. And she gets the chance to work on a celebrity wedding. And she is so excited. She's so ready. The only catch is that they've already hired their florist, and it's the man whose heart she broke 2 years ago.
Ooh.
Ooh, so
it
it's
second
chance romance. It has a hint of enemies to lovers because it's me. And I'm very excited. It's coming out through Forever Books, who also publishes Abby Jimenez, and Anita Kelly just came out with Love and Other Disasters. I'm really happy with my publishing team, and it's coming out in the US, the UK, which I think includes Australia and New Zealand, and Germany, Poland, and I just learned the other day that I'll be in Brazil.
Oh wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And hopefully more countries to come, but that's all we have as of now.
Wow.
And all the information.
I was going to say you could be the first book that I actually read that's
Yeah.
original for about 2 years.
I would be honored.
And Julie, all that info is on your website, right?
Yeah, on my website. You can pre-order it now if you're so inclined, and you can also request it at your library. That would help me in terms of like placement, and like that's a free thing you can do to help me is to just request that they stock it at your local library. And so on my Twitter link tree and my Instagram link tree has a link to the pre-order link, and then you can follow me at Julie Soto Writes on every platform. No underscores or spaces. Julie Soto Writes.
Amazing.
Thank you for that.
Awesome.
Jules.
Thank you. I'm sorry I have to boogie. I have another podcast.
I am so grateful that you agreed to join us for this one.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to hear your answers to the rest of the questions. I want to know about shampoo, and but I'll listen with the rest of them.